Okay, well, welcome everybody to SLMOOC17, weekly events for educators and everyone. Also titled, it appears, Virtually Environments Network, Virtual Plates in the Virtual Air. This event is by Andy Wheelock, who is Spiff Whitfield, a virtual pioneer, and Scott Merrick, who is optimistic at the moment and a grand poobah of the International Society for Technology in Education Virtual Environment Network. And the source of many things ISTE, as well as Andy. So the presentation will be an overview with details outlining how the International Society for Tech in Education Virtual Environment Network keeps all its plates in the air in Second Life, OpenSim, Avicon Grid, and so on every Tuesday afternoon and evening. Scott Merrick is an associate virtualization engineer at MNPS Virtual School in Nashville, Tennessee. The past year, he has been teaching inner-city students in a K-4 computer lab and looks forward to his new real-world assignment for 2017-2018, whatever that might be. He's a co-founder of the ISTE Special Interest Group for Virtual Environments, which is now ISTE-VEN. He has been a vocal proponent of virtual worlds in the service of learning and teaching since he discovered them back in the day. At ISTE17, taking place in San Antonio, Texas, please seek him out for your free hug and add the ISTE Virtual Environments and Games and Simulations Networks Playground to your ISTE17 schedule. Andy Wheelock is a technology coordinator at Erie 1, BOCES/WNYRIC in Western New York. His primary goal is to do hands-on professional development workshops, inspiring teachers to use technology to enhance learning and increase productivity. His virtual networks and ventures are many: co-chair of ISTE's Virtual Environments Network, one of the founders of Virtual Pioneers. That's a group that uses Second Life to explore history and culture. Last but not least, he's been the project director for the OpenSim Islands of Enlightenment projects. These projects are a New York State Department of Education funded, and students learn about history themes through OpenSim. Andy also does Coffee with a Geek, which is a wonderful YouTube, I think it's Google Hangout based YouTube video on talking to educators who use technology very creatively in all of their endeavors. So without further ado, guys, the floor is yours.
All right, the floor. Welcome everybody here, and welcome everybody who's viewing after the fact, because this will be published on the SLMOOC channel. So last year, let's just kick into this. I do want to tell you that I think what we're going to do is sort of run our way through this very short little presentation set of slides, and then do a physical tour of our headquarters, which tells even more about the things that we'll be sharing about right here. So last year we shared a history of the Virtual Environments Network, and that was lots of fun because it got me reading through my various collections of photographs over the decade. We're not going to go into the history this time, but that is also available on the SLMOOC site. We're going to go into what we do now. So here's a brief overview on Tuesday night. And you want to show through this list real quick?
Sure thing. So basically every Tuesday we have usually something going on for the month, and our first Tuesday of the month is the Venn Writers Night. That's run by Helena Kiyama and Second Life, Barbara Seaton, and Real Life. And we'll show you where that all takes place. But it's basically, I like to call it the Dead Poet Society for Virtual Worlds. So we go to a really cool place. So those times we really just, it's a time for writing, and there's no holds barred as far as what type of writing you like to do, whether it's poetry or prose. You can make it your own. And then the following month, we come back at that same first Tuesday of the month, and people share their writings, or don't share if they don't want to. If they want to just, be a part of the writing circle. There's no real rules as far as sharing and that sort of thing. But I would like to hazard to guess that most people share, whether they just put it on a note card and give it to people, or they give it to people in some format or invite it. And I've put it on kind of a blog that was kind of dormant for a while, and it's really pretty great. It's really helped me just write some stuff that, usually I'm writing professional type journals, so this has helped me kind of work on my poetry and prose a little bit. So going on and on.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah, you want to say anything about Writer's Workshop?
No, I think we skipped through pretty quickly here, if that's all right with you. Let's go into ISTE, which is the Van Open Office Hours. So every second Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, SL time, we gather at the Adirondack chairs around the campfire outside this building and discuss things we need to discuss, whether it's planning focus sessions or machinima night procedures or any other thing. Especially this last month or so, we've been having open office hours, and then almost every Tuesday, a core group will hang in and start and discuss the playground, which is coming up. We'll show you more about that as we get to it. Then go.
Okay. For our third Tuesday is our Venn Focus sessions. And again, you can find those on our Weebly site. So Beth Ghostraven has been running those, and also who's our other focus series person? Saunders.
Nova.
I can't think of her. Yes, Nova Saunders. Thank you. They've been working that, and that's really kind of people in the field doing some work in virtual environments. And we've had a lot of great people, like either people that are designing something Second Life, OpenSim, active world stuff. So we really try and pull in Second Life.
Yeah, we've got some slides to share with you. We changed this. This was originally a speaker session, if you've been around a while. We decided to make it more of a focus session and include field trips to various places and often different platforms. So that's a fun and interesting and certainly a learning night for everybody. And then the fourth Tuesday, we have the Venn Machinima Nights, and that takes place in Avacon Grid. And let's move through some pictures of all these things right quick. Slide. Number 4. So here are just a couple of pics from the Writer's Night. Helena does a really, really good, Barbara Seaton, really good job of scoping out evocative sims for us to visit. And, from the very first, we'll meet downstairs and we'll show you where we do that. And everybody will get a note card and we'll go to this place and just kind of part ways and experience the sim. I love the La Digue de Braque sim. You can see a picture of moi there with it in the background. It's a coastal area. It's just really just beautiful for photographs, and interesting as can be, and created some interesting poetry out of that. There is a move on to collect the writings from this writers group, by the way, and hopefully they'll be published pretty soon.
We have some of those downstairs, don't we, Scott?
I think so, yeah. We'll go see.
We'll take a look at that. The picture on the left is one we took from the Virtual World's Best Practices Conference. They did a kind of underwater exhibit. We went and did writing there, which was a great place to generate some ideas, too.
Yeah, and dance with mermaids and ride whales. So here's just a pic from the office hours, and you can see the chat's pretty active over here. And this is a smaller group, but it's a group of people from all over the world, which, as everybody sitting here knows, is one of the big affordances of Second Life and virtual worlds, is to get people together who are geophysically located away from one another. We use voice for most of these. We've got some people who have some challenges with voice, and we often archive chat and sort of mirror the voice that's going on in the chat. Hello! We're just moving through some pictures here. I just need to remember what number I am. So you can learn all about the focus sessions at this website. And if Andy, you want to talk a little bit more about focus sessions here as I grab this URL to pop into chat.
Sure. It's, primarily more of a discussion, whereas in the past it was really kind of an interview series when Scott and I first started it long ago. And now it's really, I think, a little more of a discussion, more comfortable. I think, again, there's a lot of give and take with the audience, so it's not just a presentation. It's really more of I think, a pretty lively discussion for participants. And you can find, again, the discussions and the person who's speaking on our Weebly site. We also live stream them as well, so I'm just going to post that as well.
Yeah, that makes a great archive, as the SLMOOC folks know. A lot of people couldn't make it today. And here's just an image from one of our past focus sessions. They take place downstairs in the sort of focus session room. It doesn't really have a name, but it's got a presentation screen, and the presenters usually sit on these two sofas. Other people all around. We've had as many as 30 or so avatars in that place in the focus sessions, and it's fun when that many people sort of get together and all go somewhere. And Machinima Nights, the Avacon folks, and that's Chris Collins and Joyce Betancourt, have generously provided us with space, which we really tricked out really nicely in an Avacon grid. This is an open simulator grid, and I would like to see us use it for more because I really, really like the way that it's set up. This is a screen. We're all sitting in a gorgeous little stone area. Serena, of course, did I think most of the building, and Helena put in the building, which I don't think I have a picture of.
Yeah, if you're an educator and want to, jump into Avacon Grid, it's a really nice, stable, open sim grid. There's voice enabled, so we found it's a great spot for this, and it kind of gives us another place to meet.
The other thing that Machinima Nights has done for us this year is, and we'll talk about Edge of Machinima Fest in a minute, but it's given us a venue to sort of vet films to share at ISTE at the Edge of Machinima Festival, which is an international film festival with several categories and all centered around learning and teaching and virtual worlds. Looks like we lost Spiff. And he's back. So coming up is ISTE in San Antonio, Texas. If you're going to ISTE in San Antonio, pop a Y in the chat for us, because I want to be able to look for you. We'll show you where you can look for us. Today is the deadline for writing submissions for this coming issue of Virtual Education Journal, and I can't wait to see that. Bob and Rosie have done a wonderful job of maintaining this over the years, and it's a great place to go and learn. You'll see scholarly articles, and you'll see completely laid back, freak-fried articles in the Virtual Education Journal, and it's just virtualeducationjournal.com for that one. Our big activities every year at the playground include sessions of tables. There's 6 tables, and we share this with the Games and Simulations Network. And it really, last year, it really came together. Totally active, various in the extreme, and just lots and lots going on, and lots of interest, and lots of young teachers stopping by to see what the heck are these guys talking about. So there are links to those, and I'm going to pop all these links in the chat in just a second so you can copy them for yourself. I have started jumping in on the Vista Summer of Survival. Anybody else in that? In Minecraft? It's fun, and I've already learned a whole lot about Minecraft, which I think will come in handy this coming year. Let's click to move on here. Our new foci, is that a word?
It is.
You want to talk a little bit about these guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're, augmented reality and virtual reality 3D are becoming, pretty hot topics at this point in education. I think AR is, you're starting to see some AR pieces being brought in, things like Orasma and that sort of thing into education. I think virtual reality is still a thought at this point, but on a large scale in education, especially, where I work in 12 education, Google Expeditions is probably the only thing that's really tapped in on a large scale, but it's a really actual piece. So starting to pull those in and really pay more attention to those, and starting to develop resources and bring those pieces to life, as I think we're just hitting the beginning of the wave. Kind of exciting trends. I don't know if you're familiar, the founder of Second Life, Philip Linden, is doing High Fidelity, which is, again, a virtual reality-based virtual environment. And, of course, the Second Life folks, Linden Labs, are also developing Sansar, which is supposed to be a virtual reality type 3D environment like Second Life. So,
and one of the most exciting developments, and this has been Philip Rosedale's theme for years, is that the main limiter in all these worlds is the controller. And so there's some new hardware being developed, including handheld sensors and three-dimensional sensors that really we can expect for there to be an explosion. Now, those of you who've been around for a long time, we've been expecting an explosion for a long time. And I feel like we're sort of traditionally right at the foot of the bell curve, getting ready to take that steep climb. So I'm hoping that some of these hardware developments and some of the new software platforms will move us along a little bit. So this is a little screen grab Kim Harrison shared with the Google Plus group of Summer of Survival. And these are pictures from the playground, and I think these are from 2015, but that's when we dropped the balloons down onto Google below with sweepstakes tickets inside to try to get some traffic in there. And as you see, we did get some traffic. This is Rick talking, the person who made a mammoth effort to bring back Quest Atlantis. I think it's faltered, but I do know that Active Worlds is very, very busy these days with educators. And that's what I'm playing with in Active Worlds. I look like a maniac in that Active Worlds tune. But I'm getting chops back. I was building in Active Worlds before I ever discovered Second Life back a decade ago. And just wow. There's a lot happening. You may be familiar with Gord Holden's work at the Heritage Christian School, online school in British Columbia. He's given me tours of those and created a whole sort of universe for students to learn there. He expects to have around 400 students enrolled all across British Columbia this coming year. It's still rolling and rolling well. So he granted me some land so I could go in and sort of get my chops back on building. Once I have that, I'm hoping to create a active worlds meeting space for us so that we can go explore that. It's a completely different building system, whole different set of procedures for texturing and building. And very interesting, I was able to find this building at a building supplies site in Active Worlds. And essentially you copy any object and you type in the name of the texture in the platform's vast library, and it changes to that item. So I built this little barn in 4 different textures: sides, the front, the back, and the roof. Cool beans. And I think I might have missed something here. Let me swing back here. Andy, you there, bud?
Yeah. Any questions so far from what you've seen? Any options for getting in touch with us? Or we do have, behind our presentation, we have a great kind of website that has a lot of different people. So if you're looking to connect with people, like Chris Collins, or people doing different things, even Gord Holden, I think we've got those links behind us. It's a Padlet, so basically you can plug in and some great people. DigiWorlds, I've just got a little taste of that, so I'd love to get you to come and talk to our focus series and talk about it.
Yeah, that's another thing. If anybody here is working in a project that they're at all interested in sharing, we would love to have you take over the floor for a sharing session. And you can get in touch with Beth for that. What about it, Andy? Anything else? Oh, I did want to share something, and this is all oral. I don't have a slide for it, but at the playground this year, I'm doing a presentation for SLMOOC. It's going to be a 1-hour share from the playground live in San Antonio. Haven't decided on the platform yet. It's going to be Facebook Live or Periscope probably. But at this playground, we've got Classcraft coming in. We've got Block Cells, Maker's Empire coming in. Those are the Australians. We've got something we fondly call the Aussie table. We've got Pokemon, Google Maps, Scavenger Hunt. We've got 360 Video, VR 101. Sphero, Osmo, Ozbot. Power Plays, gamification tools and techniques to boost literacy. Play games from Digit Games. Space Virtual World and Unity. And it goes on and on. There's just going to be some serious stuff going on in this playground. I can't wait to get there. I think it's the most complex one that we have yet planned, and it's still in the planning stages. So if you can't make it to San Antonio for that free hug, be on the MOOC, and you can catch some of the excitement that we'll be sharing from San Antonio on June 27th at 3 p.m. Central Time. That'll be what? That'll be 1 SLT.
Yeah, and I did put the website for the Padlet with all the different people on there, and I think you can still contribute to it too if you want to post your information there. So I really liked some of the comments we got. So we got some people doing some language learning, which again I think has such great possibilities.
Hang on, and I'm going to paste in chat the URL. There you go. I did fail to mention the socials. We also do socials on pretty much every other Thursday. Is that right, Andy? I get this correct?
Yep.
I don't often get in there just because it doesn't work well with my schedule, but it's a fun time, and those are always announced on the weekly.
Yeah, definitely. Thursdays are great, and we do have some, options for people to not just be participants, but if you would like to be a kind of take on one of the social events yourself, we'd love that too. So we really encourage people to be, contributors in a variety of ways, and any way you'd like to, And again, if you want to just come and hang out with us, that's always great too. But we certainly encourage people to be participants and help us out and share your vast knowledge. So.
And I meant to mention it when we were talking about the Summer of Survival, but our friends at VISTE, the Virginia Society for Technology and Education, those guys are very, very active. They're very busy. They're doing book study. They're doing all kinds of stuff. And they meet on Monday nights at, I believe, the same time. That'll be 5 p.m. Second Lifetime. And I just love it that there's active group after active group who are working to share and help one another and learn with one another in these kinds of platforms. I don't feel any competition in any way. I feel nothing but fellowship and fun. It's just it's maybe the way the world should be.
Yeah, it really is great, the kind of camaraderie we found among the different groups all across, the educational sphere here, from VISTE to, the Edges of Partnering, Virtual Pioneers. We kind of feel like that falls under our umbrella. And again, what's going on at Chilbo, and it has been great. We really try not to step on each other's toes. Yep, the librarians group. So, Scott, are we ready to take him on a little tour?
I think we are.
All
Let's
right.
treat this table.
All right. So if everyone wants to stand, we're going to kind of, this will be the walkabout.
The walkabout. Let's follow Andy.
Follow Spiff. Okay. So where we were is what we call the Venn Library. And again, feel free to come and use this. If you ever need to find a comfortable meeting space, feel free to do that. And we'll also have that board with all of with the Padlet up there. So feel free to there. This little spot over here with the comfy couches, we've never really put into any great use. So if anybody wants a challenge and has a great idea for space come to life, as of right now, it's just a place where people can couches. But
yeah, the image on the wall, by the way, does anybody recognize that?
Oh, days.
I took it.
Maggie probably recognizes it.
I bet Maggie knows, because she used to stand on that sidewalk at the building in the center. That was a very active sidewalk, wasn't it?
Yeah, one time.
It's the island.
Yay. Yeah, when Second Life was new, I used to do a Sunday night tour guide session, and I'd probably get 5 to 10 newbies coming in. It was fun. Yeah, the podcast hot, the bloggers get hot. Yeah, the auditorium. So.
Back when blogging was the shiz.
Yeah. All right, if you could follow us down the stairs, please.
Maggie, is this making it hard for you to film, or you got it?
You come over to the focus area. Is that okay, Scott?
Oh, yeah. I just wander away. All right.
So I know probably voice is probably our trickiest challenge if your avatar loses voice as you go, but this is our writer's workshop area where we start off and meet, and you'll notice we've got scrolls on this bench over here, if you can see those. And this is kind of where we start off, and again, I think we've got whatever the writer's workshop focus for the night is. You'll get a folder with a landmark and some kind of thoughts. And again, then the next week we come back, we meet here. We usually gather around the couches. There's work, so that's how the writer's workshop goes. Yeah.
Then off to your right, we have a massive open online calendar, which also registers as MOOC. But that's contributed to by a number of people, a number of organizations, and you'll see that there's a lot going on. So that's active. Looks like the still picture is June 2016, but if you click on it, it's it's URL on a prim, so it'll bring in the calendar itself, which will go to June 2017.
Hey, Fidget's is here. Hey, Fidget. Great to see you.
Hi, Fidgets! Fidgets! And over behind, there's a link to the ISTE conference site. Down below, there are two little URLs on a prim. One is for the description of the playground, and the other is the description of Edumachinima Night. Last year on Edumachinima Night, we had Drax coming in, Drax Bernhard coming in live from Germany, and he did a whole, like a half an hour presentation about his video making and why he thinks that's important. If you're not familiar with Drax, you need to Google that, because he's working officially with Linden Lab now, doing some community building. Really nice guy. In setting it up, I chatted with him in Germany several times over Skype and met with him in Second Life. Nice, talented guy.
Yeah, the Drax Files really is probably the preeminent machinima
Yep.
making. So just off to the side over here, we've got the place where we usually use for the focus series. Again, at one time it was set up as kind of benches and a stage, but now it's really kind of meant to be comfy couches in a circle or so people can gather. Again, it encourages more of a conversation rather than just sage on the stage type of option, which is where we started. But so this is the focus series, so a great place for us to again come together. Comfortableness of the setting kind of makes it a comfortable place to have a conversation.
When we do the writer's night, Helena will put an urn out in the middle, and you just drag your document into that urn, and it'll all be there for people to collect. People drop poems and short stories and any other kind of writing. Fascinating fellowship time. Both iterations of it, both the travel together and then the sharing of the writing together. Cool stuff. Back behind we have the BWBBE rotating slideshow with all kinds of information stuff. It's fun. And there's Spiff Speaker Award. Look, I'm doing like my pad kind of thing.
Yeah, great times. Great times. Hey, Nori Bond.
Then other informational URL things back in the corner, including a link to Avicon. Again, if you haven't gotten into Avicon, do that. And, let Spiff or I know, and we'll make sure that if we have your username, we can drop a landmark on you for the VEN place. I actually, 2 years ago, put up an art display with my students' art in there. And if you have something like that you'd like to mount in Avicon Grid, the space is there. It's a beautiful building built by Helena. And it's there. We've got spaces.
And a willingness to share.
Yep.
Okay, you want to work our way over to the fire pit?
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. It's nap time. Not.
All right, let's make our way over yonder.
We like the greenhouse. It's a new addition for us. Although we're going to go to the campfire.
Yeah, let's go to the campfire. We can also stop here and show the old welcome desk from ISTE Island. That's one of the last remnants of ISTE Islands. Again.
You can grab your water bottle too if you want to.
Oh yeah, there's T-shirts too here. We'll have to show them the T-shirt area as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Oh, there's the Venn T-shirt down at the bottom right. So you can grab yourself a free Venn T-shirt. We've also got some newer versions of Venn T-shirts out here, I believe. I think we've got them in our stock room.
And another iteration back on the wall of the massive open online calendar. We enjoy meeting here.
So yeah, this is where we usually have our office hours. We sometimes change it up, but most times we're gather around the fire and chat for office hours.
Off behind us, we've got the VEJ, Veg, we like to call it.
Yeah, Veg headquarters. Can veg out over there. Pun intended.
And you can get your copies of Veg right here. I love that new configuration, by the way. It used to be sort of a gigantic prim displaying the cover, and now it's tastefully more decor.
So this is new. This is actually our exhibit from the Virtual World's Best Practices Conference, and I believe that it was Serena and Helena who put this together. We're so fortunate to have, especially Serena off course and Helena, who are fantastic builders and contributors. So they brought this to life as the exhibit, and we liked it so much we said, hey, let's bring it to the space so we can use this. So we started using that for, yes, they are generous. Much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
So again, this is kind of a comfy spot to hang out in. And over yonder, follow me.
We do have a pet hummingbird inside. Yes.
So I'll introduce this, and can also talk about the virtual pioneers as well. Maybe we can put two checkoffs together here. But this exhibit was the work that I've been doing in OpenSim. I'll put the link in chat. It's just the Islands of Enlightenment. And basically, from the inspiration that I got, really from being a part of this group and from the people that have been so involved in ISTE over the year, it really inspired me to do something for K-12 education, or at least probably 6-12 education, and that was to develop these, the Islands of Enlightenment projects. And the first thing we developed was really based off of the Holocaust Museum that's here in Second Life. If you go to that sim, it's still there and still a really powerful exhibit that showcases, I think, historical content in virtual worlds, but still in a powerful way that, conveys the tragedy, Holocaust, in a whole different light. And with that as kind of the inspiration, we created this, the Anne Frank house. And in the OpenSim environment that I have, we actually created the Streets of Amsterdam, 1944, where the secret annex was. And again, Serena, of course, was huge in helping that happen. She did a lot of the build for that, using pretty much just the plans and maps and pictures from the house. So brought it here in Second Life as an exhibit for Virtual World's Best Practices Conference. And again, we thought, hey, it's such a great exhibit. Let's let people do that. So if you wanted to kind of explore sometime the annex, at least a digital representation of it, feel free to come and you can just walk through, follow the arrows, and you can take a little tour. You can, there's videos on the wall over there if you want to see the project and how it came about and everybody's part of it. There's even kind of a guest book over there if you want to sign it, and maybe some comments in there. We're always kind of just checking to see what people think of that. So there's that, and again, that's been really inspirational. We've had over 400 kids that have come into the secret annex, the digital annex, and we found, you know, the writing that kids have done based off of it, and the building. To me, virtual environments for kids, to me, if without the building component, you're really not getting the biggest piece of it. So with that, kids they are actually in our virtual environment. They create a historical exhibit based on the Holocaust. So again, and the pieces that the kids do, even with limited building skills, is fantastic. And it, to me, you know, when you see the exhibits and you see the kids' writings after they do this in the context of a virtual world and reading the book, again, the book is the key. I think you enhance the learning by tenfold. So I could go on and on about that. So please feel free and come take a look at that when you have a moment, even after our session here. And then beyond this building is the home of the Virtual Pioneers, which is a group of teachers primarily, but doesn't have to be teachers. But, we've been kind of a spring-off group of ISTE for quite some time, and mostly explore historical or cultural sims, and we meet on Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. SL time and do various different tours of historical or cultural places. So I'll put the landmark in there. I'll let you.
Well, I just want to say that's a great group of people, and Andy's been a real leader to envision it and make it happen. Those tours are always fascinating. So how are we looking for time here? Looks like we got 15 more minutes. How are we going to spend that time?
You're fine as long as you need.
Okay.
Well, we certainly have people. Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
There are ISTE t-shirts too over in the free box, and those are mesh t-shirts. If they're a little bit more sophisticated than the one by the desk, and if you're any good at all at sizing mesh and making that work for you, I'd highly recommend you pick up one of those free t-shirts. I'm hoping one of the tangents we haven't really gone off on is that in past years we've had a sort of a meeting and viewing space here in order to share what's going on at ISTE, and I don't doubt that one of us will come up with some way to do so. In the past, I built a temporary place up on the roof with a screen, and Andy and I will talk about that and see if we can get a share space for those who can't make the trek out to San Antonio, but who can make the trek into Second Life.
Yeah, we always like to try and bring that conference back to you guys in some way.
Has anybody seen that Bloomberg video from the man at Stanford University who has a company using virtual environments to train athletes? Because that blew my mind last week. Let me see if I can find it real quick and save it. It was on Bloomberg, which is a reputable source, and the interview was about 15 minutes, but it just blew my mind. He's got an empathy program, and he's got a program wherein athletes will over and over again experience success. Maybe it's at the free throw line, or or maybe it's pitching or batting or something like that. And so he's getting data together that's proving that experiencing it virtually helps performance, accelerates performance, and on the playing field. Fascinating stuff. So let me find that real quick.
And I think maybe to kind of use that as a way to circle back to the very beginning is that, Scott and I have been involved in this probably, I think I've been since 2007, so we're going on 10 years working away at this. And, we've had we get a lot of interest in virtual environments, but getting, especially in K-12 where we are, it's always tough to get that next level and to get teachers to kind of buy into it. Minecraft, I think, has been a really nice eye-opener for a lot of teachers and parents because they see their kids involved in building, and it seems, all of a sudden they're getting a spark that way. I think part of getting teachers to get that next step in OpenSim is, gives you more realistic builds, but is a little higher learning curve. I think probably, one of our biggest challenges as educators is letting go of that power and letting kids actually...
When the water utility for the nation's capital works with Goldman Sachs, an infrastructure project moves...
Freezes and that sort of thing, just stick with it. So I think the kids kind of deal with freezes and bumps and that sort of thing probably better than we can, but that still comes back to kind of the battle that we fight. I shouldn't even call it a battle. I think it's a challenge. Let's put it as that's a better word, is just getting, teachers to open their eyes to it and let their kids be the creators and the builders and the power behind the technology.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not making mistakes and if you're not experiencing glitches, like a little sound glitch this morning, when you relog because there was a hum, and you're learning from all those things, and teaching kids to have a willingness to do that, push it to the failure point, is very, very difficult. Especially, I have to say, in my school population this past year, where it's an extremely needy and extremely impoverished school. Getting them to care about their learning could make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, my old saying is life doesn't imitate art, it imitates the Wizard of Oz. So you really need the three elements, right? The brain, the heart, but most of all, you need courage. That's courage is, what was it, Aristotle said, the first virtue. Without courage, nothing else falls into place. So you need to be courageous as teachers, and even when we say we can't do something, power ahead. So
you, sir, are sage as hell this morning. This afternoon.
As well as ruggedly handsome, right?
Yeah.
Only in Second Life, though. So with that, I guess I'm thinking maybe leave it open for questions, or if people want to take a tour of the annex, go check out the Virtual Pioneers. We can just kind of hang out. Yeah, 35 in Second Life and never grow old.
That's a fact. Well, let's walk over to the Virtual Pioneers building.
Let's do it. You can get some free historical clothing if you'd like.
Who doesn't like free clothing?
I'll tell you just a wonderful, quick story about this building. Serena, of course, and I were kind of in the main starters of Virtual Pioneers. Someone came along and said, I've got this building. I'm happy to, they built it themselves. They said they'd be happy to give it to us for Virtual Pioneers. They did it, they built it, they basically gave it to us in the inventory, and then they vanished. We haven't seen them ever since. So it was kind of this wonderful. We invited them to come back at any time, but they just vanished. It was almost like an angel, for lack of a better term, just coming down and giving us this amazing building and walking away, not expecting anything from it. We didn't pay them. We didn't give them any sort of compensation. They just did it for us. So feel free to enjoy. And on the second floor, if you go up to the second floor, there's free historical clothing, as well as a board of all the tours that we went on with the note card. So feel free if you want to check out places we've been. Come on in and roam around. Oh, and we will be having a tour tomorrow. I'll drop you a note card so you can join us if you can.
Where are you going? Oh, it's a European Grand Tour?
Let's see. We are going on what's called Journeys of the Mind and Heart. How's that? Wraps into our Wizard of Oz theme.
That's a good summary.
Yeah. There we go. I'm going to drop everybody the note card. Feel free to join us. I know it's probably won't work well with Italian time. I'm sorry. So we start off meeting here, and then we go to the landmark from there. So that's 5 p.m. SL time tomorrow. Did everybody get a note card? I think I dropped it to everybody. Yeah, there's so many great places to go here. We never run out of places to go. Oh, you know what? Fidgets, I probably forgot you because you're in your tiny mode. There you go. Okay. Well, with that, thank you, everybody. I hope you'll come back and visit us for any of the events that we have, both Virtual Pioneers and ISTE Ven. And again, I hope you'll go see the Anne Frank exhibit, spend some time there and learn. A lot of great people put that all together. So
thank you so much, Spiff. This has been really fantastic. It's and thanks to Scott too. It's always wonderful to see what ISTE is up to and Virtual Pioneers, and it's I can't recommend you guys enough for educators in Second Life. It's just the fellowship and the information and the activities and the inspiration and all the rest of it. It's just an astonishing resource for all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming today as well.
thank you. And feel free to connect with us.